Okay, some more practice. I will do the first one, and then you guys can do the ones after. So here, visualize this as this a here times. Well, I could do x times x, but I'm just going to say x squared here. Take away, and then you've got b here, and then x squared. Yeah, you could visualize it as a times x times x. Take away b times b here, b times x. But let's just merge these two together, so it becomes this. Okay, merge these two together, so it becomes this. Well, basically, just visualize it up here, like it is up here. Now look what's in common. The x squared is in common, so you can actually take the x squared out. Hang on. There's a minus in between here, so you are taking the x squared out. Okay, so it would be this x squared, and then what's left is the a, and when you take the x squared out, what's left is the b. Remember, it's a minus here. Okay, so this would be your final answer. So this is the highest common factor, if you like. So you can actually take the x squared out. Okay, your turn now. Yeah, visualize this. When you come to do this y here, visualize it as this. Rather than doing y times y times y 5 times, do it like this. Hang on. Do the y as this. Look at this. Look at this here. This here. Visualize this as y to the power 5. And when you break down the y, rather than doing the y times y times y 7 times over here, do it like this. Y to the power 5 times y squared. Visualize this y to the power 7 as this. Y to the power 5. Y to the power of 2, and then later on take the y to the power of 5 out. This side will go. Well, what's left will be y. Well, have a go. And anyway, press pause and have a go. Okay, so let's visualize this bit here. Let's visualize this bit here. So it will be a times. Well, let's look at the x here. Have a quick glance at the x here. The highest common factor would be, just looking at the x only. It would be x squared. Okay, but on this side I'm going to have an x here. Now have a quick glance at the y. The y here. The highest common factor here will be y to the power of 5. Just looking at the y only, it will be y to the power of 5. So I'm going to visualize the y as this, y to the power of 5. And then on this side, let's take the b down. On this side, it will be x squared. Okay, and the y here would be y to the power of 5 y times y squared. Okay, so here it just takes practice. Hang on, let me do this again. So here, look at this. Look at the a and the b. Nothing in common. So we're going to have to leave it as a, and over here we're going to leave it as b. Okay. Now look at the x. Just looking at the x here, you've got x to the power 3, x to the power 2. The highest common thing would be x squared. So I'm going to visualize this as x squared. I'm going to break up the x to the power 3 as x squared times x. Okay. On this side, well, it's going to be x squared because that's the highest common factor. Just looking at the x. Okay. Now let's look at the y. Just looking at the y. Y to the power 5, y to the power 7. The highest factor would be the highest common factor will be just looking at the y only. It would be y to the power 5. So I'm going to visualize this as y to the power of 5 over here, y to the power of 5. And then I have to times it by y squared because this is to the power of 7. Okay, so now that you've broken this up like this, you can actually hang on. Yeah. So what's in common here? The A not in common, B not in common. So it has you can't really take them out. So they have to live inside the brackets. What's in common? Well, x squared is in common. So let's take the x squared out. X squared out. Okay. So we can take the x squared out. Take the x squared out. Okay. What else is in common? The y to the power 5 here. So we can take y to the power 5 out. Y to the power 5. So we can take y to the power 5, take it out. So this goes. So what's left here will be ax and by squared. Okay. Now let's tidy this up. So this bit here, when you multiply them together, it will be x squared y to the power 5 bracket ax and plus by squared. So there, you just factorized it. This happens to be the highest common factor. Okay, this one here. Okay, first your eyes should zoom into the 6 and the 9. Try and find out the highest thing. Okay, the highest common factor, and then look at the x and the x. Look for the highest common factor. Okay, and then look at the y and the y here as well. Okay, and then look at the z. 3 here. Here you probably break it up as a z to the power of 3 times z to the power of 2. Okay. Well, anyway, do whatever you want. Press pause and have a go. Okay, let's look at the 6 and the 9. Highest common factor, I would probably say 3. I'm going to visualize it as 3. Okay, hang on. Visualize it as 3 times 2 here, and then let's zoom into the two x's here. The highest common factor between these two will be x squared. So I'm going to visualize it as x squared and x to the power of 3. Okay. On this side, I know it's just going to be x squared later on. Now let's zoom into the y. The y here. The highest common factor for the two y's here will be y squared. So I'm going to visualize this as y squared times y squared. Okay. Now look at the z. Highest common factor between these two would be z to the power 3. So I'm going to visualize this as z to the power 3. Well, don't need anything else. That's done there. And here I'm going to break it up later. Okay, so hang on this side now, it will be, remember we're breaking up with a 3. So it will be 3 times 3. Z squared, we're going to leave it as z squared. Y squared, remember we're going to leave it as y squared. This just takes practice, so just try, keep on trying. So z squared, remember we're breaking up. We said that the highest common factor when it comes to the z would be z to the power 3. Z to the power 3, z times z squared here. Okay, to make up z to the power 5. So now look for what's in common. Okay, the common thing would be the 3 here. Hang on. So the three here goes. I'm going to take the 3's out. Okay. So here would be 3. What else is in common? X squared here. X squared here. So we're going to take the. Remember, there's no x to the power 3 over here. So we're going to have to leave the x to the power 3 here. Well, here. What's in common here? It's just the x squared here. X squared here. So we can take the x squared out. So this will be x squared, okay? Hang on, we've removed the x squared, okay? Now look at the y. You've got y squared here, but you've only got one y squared over here, so you can only remove one block. So this, let's remove the x squared out here. X squared, x squared. Remember, we're taking x squared. Sorry, we're taking the y squared out. So that's this here. Okay. Now look at the z. Z to the power 3 here, z to the power 3 here. So let's take the z to the power 3 out. So let's take z to the power 3 out. So it will be z to the power 3. Okay. So now what's left? Hang on, let's stick the plus in here. What's left will be this, this, and this, which is 2x to the power 3 y squared, and on this side it's just this one and this one here. So it would be 3z squared. So there. This complicated thing here is your highest common factor, and yeah. So you just tidy up now. So it would be this. Z to the power 3 bracket x 3 y squared plus 3z squared. Okay, so this there, you just factorized it. Okay, done.